So I was swimming this weekend and I had a paddleboarder circling around me and said, "Hey, what's up?" I said, "Oh, I thought you were a buoy." Oh, good morning, everybody. Bald buoy head. Uh, Beautiful morning today in Kailua Kona. Happy Wednesday to you. It's Wednesday white for me, so I look thinner today. Look at least 200 pounds less than white. Chef Chris here, executive chef of Papakona Restaurant. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to do a little bit of baking because I understand everyone out there in Facebook land is doing baking. I understand there's a lot of bakers going on, and I know that for a fact. When you go to the supermarket and try and find baking supplies, they're not to be found. Flour is tough to come by. Certain other things are tough to come by right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick biscuits and gravy. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a quick little country, down and dirty country gravy. Real quick, real fast, real simple. And it's all about technique, okay? The other thing is I'm going to do what's called a drop biscuit today. And again, I've always believed in the philosophy of once you stop learning in culinary arts is the time that you need to retire out of this business. And I've always been a very, very, very strong proponent of the flaky biscuit. I'm a flaky biscuit guy. However, at the ripe old age of whatever I am, I'm kind of turning. I'm kind of liking the light, fluffy, airy of a drop biscuit because I just started experimenting with drop biscuits about 2 weeks ago. And the thing about a drop biscuit is it's contrary to everything that I've done in my past biscuit baking life. I've been everything has to be cold philosophy. This is actually contrary to all of that. This is actually warm. So what I'm going to do, and I've got heavy cream and I've got some butter in here. I've got about a stick of butter and I got about a cup of heavy cream. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in, and I'm going to get that starting to heat up right now. So what I want to do is I want to bring that up to about a temperature of about 100 degrees, about 98, so about body temperature, okay? So by doing this, what I'm doing is I'm melting out those fats. And by melting them out early with all the moisture in the liquid, it's going to allow for a nice airy biscuit. It's not going to have the fat run away. I'm already kind of pre-melting my fat, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and heat that up. Just let that go, okay? Let that go. In the meantime, we're going to visit our other ingredients. So right here I have 3 cups of flour, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of sugar. That was about a half a cup of sugar. Half a cup of sugar. Now, I'm going to be making a savory biscuit. I'm going to use some cheese, and I've got some ham. So you might be saying, "Hey, chef, why are you using sugar?" Well, sugar is actually going to help the browning of the biscuit. Okay, it's going to help give you that golden brown and delicious. Our key term. Don't forget, golden brown and delicious is what we're looking for, okay? So, I've got baking soda, and baking powder. Now, they both look alike, right? The good thing for this recipe is I'm doing equal parts of each. If I had 2 in 1, I would definitely make sure which one's which by tasting it, okay? This is one of those things that in culinary school you'd always have on a product identification, and you'd have all these white things set side by side, and the only way you're going to be able to know the difference of the two is by tasting them. Sometimes you get good and you can tell by texture. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of one teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda right into that mix, okay? And I'm also going to add about a teaspoon of salt as well. So 1, and 1, okay? Very simple. Very, very simple, okay? Drop biscuit. So I've got this up to temperature. It's all melted down. Looks like it's nice and warm. I can even feel it. That's good. That's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And I'm going to just go ahead and slowly but surely start adding that in there. Don't call me Shirley. Okay, so here we go. In we go. Okay, that looks good. Now you notice how I didn't add in all my liquid yet, okay? I want to let's see what happens, okay? I want to see what happens. It's kind of hard to go backwards when I added too much liquid in there, yeah? So let's turn our attention. I've got here, got about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese for a little saltiness. Add that in there. I've got some beautiful chopped ham, okay? Diced up ham. I'm going to add in about a couple of handfuls. There you go. There you go. How much was that? 2, 3 handfuls? Exactly. So here I've got some cheddar cheese and I've got some Gruyere cheese. Again, do you have to use these cheeses, guys? No. Use what you like. I'm going to go ahead and add about a 1.5 cups of cheese in there. Just like that. Making my mouth water already. So I'm going to do this a ham and cheese, more of a savory biscuit. Now you can see how I still have a lot of dry in there, yeah? So that's great. That's okay. I've got more liquid right here. I think looks like my liquid was going to be right spot on. So again, like I was saying, I was always a cold school of thought when it came to biscuits, and my whole world has been turned upside down, if you will, with these drop biscuits. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit more, just a touch. So I still have some reserve. That's fine. Okay, look at that. So it looks like a nice, beautiful dough. See how it's just comes together, okay? So I've got my little, let's go ahead and put this over here to the side. And I've got my scoop. This is where the term drop biscuit comes in. Okay, 1 and 2. Beautiful, okay? And then we're just going to pop that into our little easy bake oven here. While that's going, let's turn our attention to the making the gravy. Let's make the gravy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and use this same saucepan that I just used. No use cleaning up extra. Cut down your cleanup time if you can. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the traditional method of making a roux. Okay. Now a roux is equal parts of fat and flour. So that was 2 teaspoons of fat. Oops. 2 teaspoons of fat. So I go a little bit more. Again, this, guys, for me is roux number 4,260, but who's counting? So this is a lot of feel for me. As you guys practice at home, you'll get better at doing this, okay? Now there's 3 different stages of roux, okay? A white roux, which is just barely cooked, and then you go from a white to a blonde, and then you go from a blonde to a dark, okay? Now, keep in mind, when you're working with a roux, the lighter it is, the more it will thicken. The darker you get this, the less it'll thicken. You use your dark roux for your beautiful Cajun dishes like gumbo, okay? Gumbo. So, I've got that going. You can see how it's bubbling up. Now, 1 ounce of roux will thicken 8 ounces of liquid. Okay? So I'm just going to merely stir that in. Trying to declumpify it. Declumpify. Make sure that there's no clumps. Adding my milk in slowly and whisking as I go. Stirring as I go. You could use a whisk for this if you like. Okay? Use a whisk if you like. Me, I lean a little bit more towards a spatula for all of my uses. Okay. If you find any little clumps, just go ahead and press them in. Press them in, circle them around. Now, key component. This is actually one of the first things I ever learned as a culinary term, and it was long before culinary school. It was always watching Emeril. And you have to, whenever you're working with a roux or any kind of thickener, it has to come to a boil for it to reach its full thickening potential, okay? Has to come to a boil. I'm going to add in just a skosh more of that milk. Just thin it out a little bit more. So let's turn our attention to our seasonings. It's pretty simple. I've got there some black pepper. And here, this is going to be a very vegetarian. I could have used some turkey, ground turkey. I could have used some ground sausage for this and make it a sausage gravy. But I'm not going to go that route. What I have here is a little bit of thyme. I love thyme. And the other thing I have here is fennel seed. Fennel seed. So fennel is sometimes a seasoning in some sausages, so it's kind of going to bring that sausage essence to the table. Stir that in. And let's hit it with some of that black pepper. And always, 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 always salt. Yeah? Always with salt. And that already looks beautiful. Beautiful, quick, down and dirty gravy. Now, turn down my heat. It's already come to a boil. Now I'm just going to simmer it and let it happen. Now, if this were to happen to get a little bit too thick, okay? If it gets too thick, and I've already added all my milk in, what do you do, guys? Anybody with an answer? Right, add water. You can thin it out with a little bit of water. Water's not going to change anything about this flavor-wise, okay? It's going to keep the flavor profile the same. Let's see where our flavor is. So, right now it's very flour-y. It's got to cook out that flour. You got to cook out that rawness. And it needs way more herbaceousness. So a lot more thyme and a lot more fennel. And a lot more black pepper. Again, you guys saw how I tasted, right? And you can never have too much salt. Well, you can, but it's hard. Okay? Very simple gravy. Very little simple gravy. Looks good. I'm going to thin it out just a skosh. Just a skosh. Very good, very good. Now, normally you're going to cook your biscuits until they're what? Golden brown and delicious, right? That's great. Thin that out just one more time. And let's check our seasoning one more time. I'm going to cook that out just a little bit more. Let's taste it. Flavor's starting to come through a little bit more. That fennel's really nice. I love fennel. Okay. A little bit more salt. And that's ready to go. So we have our gravy ready to go for our biscuits. Okay. Now, through the magic of TV, let's go to this. Voila. A beautiful golden brown and delicious. Notice the beautiful golden brown color on this, okay? Cheese is really popping through there really nicely, okay? Looks really, really beautiful. Put that out of the way. And let's visit our sauce one last time. Again, I'm looking at thickness, okay? See how gloopy it still is? I still want it just a touch thinner. Just a touch thinner. Okay, that looks great. Got a little bit of parsley as a garnish. So let's go ahead and do this. Any of that off of there. Let's taste it one more time. Oh yeah, there you go. Tastes good. I'm a little bit partial to a sausage gravy. This one is just a really, really quick interpretation of a gravy. I really mainly like you to take away that this is just a quick, fast bechamel sauce. Okay. Get a towel. This is a little hot. Let's go ahead and... Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that. See the consistency of the gravy? It's kind of just falling off, but some of it is still sticking. It has that stick-to-itiveness. Okay? Stick-to-itiveness. Now that's a word. Very good. Get some dripping out over the sides. Why not? I like a lot of gravy with my grip biscuits. Okay? There we go. And let's just garnish each little one with a little bit of parsley. So I'm thinking about doing these biscuits, these beautiful cheese biscuits, on one of our evenings that we're serving our meals. Again, check all that out at papakona.com for all of our meals that we're going to be doing. But I think that this would be a dynamite addition to any dinner, a beautiful cheesy biscuit to go with your dinner. Don't forget, visit us online, papakona.com, for all the information. All of our menus are posted. We actually have a new menu posted into the next week already, so you can start seeing where we're headed with our new menus. You place your order day before by 3 o'clock and it'll be delivered out to you the next day. Or come by Papakona, see our beautiful bay, take a walk around if you want, and pick up your dinner right here at Papakona. Still can't eat here yet. We're still waiting for anything to happen. Also check our website for any information regarding our openings and what's happening in the future, the very near future here, hopefully as all this starts to lift and our island begins to reopen. So once again, it's Chris Allen, Executive Chef at Papakona, saying mahalo, and come visit us again on Friday. We'll have some fun. We're going to be doing some chicken parm.